right, hey guys, we have Theagle here on camera for the first time ever. Get to see, what another member of the league looks like. Pretty cool. Uh, Happy to have you on here at Theagle. So I thought we would just start by, talking about your team to start off with. I'll pull it up on my screen, and everybody that's watching will be able to follow along, kind of. So yeah, give me some thoughts on the state of your team. We got 1 week under our belts. You took an L, but you scored a bunch of points, so I think you're still in a good spot. So yeah, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking a lot of things right now. So after the Christian McCaffrey trade, I thought I was like in the prime position to win the league.
Right.
But then I saw like not so super team, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't completely sure anymore. And then Kittle went down, and Kelsey got traded to someone, and I was like, this is going to be a hard one to win, actually. So I'm now kind of in a small dilemma. So I'm trying to trade my way older players away that I don't think will last me longer than a few years. So I just traded Thielen away and got Hollywood Brown for him. So
pretty solid. Yeah, I like that trade. And yeah, I definitely agree. The George Kittle injury is what really, I think, forces you to kind of reevaluate. With Kittle in there, you have like a 20-point per game kind of tight end, but now you have to just kind of stream guys because, and I'm the guy that got Kelsey, and he's not for sale. So,
No. If Kelsey should not be for sale at all at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with it, see if I can get a championship with him. But I do like what you've been doing with the team. I like how the Marquise Brown was a nice pickup. You got like 8 years younger or something than Thielen. And you got some draft picks too, right?
Yeah, and I got 2 second-round draft picks. One of them is from Stags. Okay. And Stags is looking to be the prime tanker, so I consider it a first-rounder.
Oh, that's interesting. So Stags traded a second-rounder to Josh, and Josh used that. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you who's your matchup this week? Let's take a look at that and see kind of what you're looking at. Gallows, I like your chances of being 1-1 with, a really nice points scored for the league so far. So it's not like you're tanking or anything.
No, I'm not really tanking, but I'm more focusing on next years.
Okay.
Like I have a really good running back core, like 2 of them. Yeah. So McCaffrey plus Sanders for the upcoming years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I do not want to change. And I also like having Cooper and Allen Robinson for the upcoming 5 years, so to say.
I do really like Amari Cooper looking towards next year. I think his value kind of tanks for this year with the quarterbacks that Dallas is throwing out there. But he's a really nice, you traded for him, right? We're going to have to scroll for a while to find what the value was.
I traded Kittle for Cooper plus the first rounder.
And
that was Pastor's first rounder, and I feel like Pastor is also trying to tank like a little bit.
Pastor actually had the lowest points scored in the entire league last week. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that first rounder was like, I kind of want that.
Interesting.
And that way, Amari Cooper is on his first year of his contract, of the 5-year contract that he has now. Allen Robinson has not signed a new contract yet, so he might actually go to a better team for him.
Yeah, he could actually see an upgrade in value, and he's already a great player. So he's a very interesting piece to have for sure. Yep, I like that a lot.
We have another camp for Brown. I believe Brown will break out because he just doesn't connect yet, but he runs all the routes, and he's looking really good.
Yeah, and as someone that watches the Ravens really closely, unfortunately, I mean, I love Lamar Jackson, but Lamar is just not hitting Brown. Brown is open a lot. He's like better in real life than he is in fantasy right now. So if that catches up at some point, I will be very jealous that you have him. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I just do like my quarterback situation like a lot.
Oh yeah.
Wilson just tweeted something like that he wants be playing till he's 43 years old, and being in prime, etc. And I believe Wilson will be around for a long time.
Yep. He strikes me as the kind of quarterback that really does want to play for a very long time, and he'll always be elite. He will never stop, trying to be the best. That's the kind of, sometimes it's not just about getting a talented player, but getting a player that has the right mindset, and Russell Wilson's just great. So, and Derek Carr's a very nice quarterback to have too, in my opinion. So,
yeah, I do think that Derek Carr is still in a growing phase, just looking at his wide receivers, because his prime wide receivers are Renfro and Rooks, and they are both very young.
I agree. Plus, you can look at guys like Ryan Tannehill. Derek Carr is 29. Ryan Tannehill's 32, and Ryan Tannehill kind of exploded onto the scene just a year ago. So, some quarterbacks in their early 30s can really, hit another gear and get even better. So, Derek Carr, I wouldn't call him young, but I also wouldn't say that he's necessarily peaked. So, yeah, that's a nice piece that I like a lot too. Yeah. And, some of your younger pieces down here aren't too bad either. Unfortunately, you might have gotten the worst of the two Buffalo running backs.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Raw Dog? This is me and Theagle time.
I'm trying to listen in. On what you guys are talking about.
Well, the video will be uploaded. So get out of here.
All right. Okay,
you'll have your time.
I'm gonna go work out.
All right. See you, dude.
See you, dude.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was talking about. I think Zach Moss looks like he might be a little better than Singletary, but what can you do?
I do not think Singletary will get faded out completely, though.
I agree. Yeah, that's definitely true. Let's see.
He's very young. Mm-hmm. He's 23. It's his second year. He has not been doing bad. Mm-hmm. So, but with Zach Moss coming in, I believe Singletary will get another place.
Yeah, that's interesting to monitor moving forward. Singletary last week had 86 yards rushing. That's not bad at all, but only 48% of the snaps, and so that's something to monitor. Earlier in the season, he had 89% of the snaps in weeks 3 and 4. I don't know if that's because Zach Moss was hurt. I don't remember that far back, but
yeah, he had a toe injury, I believe.
Okay, so, yeah. Interesting. So yeah,
I do like Singletary, but I'm not sure what to really expect of him for the coming years.
It could end up being the kind of thing where Singletary is startable as a flex maybe, but as long as there's two guys there, you won't be able to confidently play him as a RB1 or 2. But that's fine because you have McCaffrey and Sanders, which obviously, moving into next year, that's a very solid duo to build around.
Yeah.
And, Gurley might maintain his value too. He's interesting.
Yeah, I do think that Singletary, how I expect the Buffalo's running back situation to go, is that Singletary will go for the dirty work.
Okay.
And Moss will be for the red zone work.
Okay. So I wonder what you always in a PPR league too. You want to look at passing targets, and Singletary gets quite a few.
Yeah,
it's not bad at all. So yeah, I think he's a startable piece. Not bad. And
I do still dislike the trade that not really. The trade that I did with you, getting Drew Sample from you for Quintez
Cephas.
Yeah, because Quintez, I believe, will get his first real game this weekend.
I'm anxious to watch. Yeah, and Cephas did. Let's pull up my team real quick. I think it was week 1. He got 10 targets when Golladay was out. He only caught 3 of them. But that's interesting to me. Anytime a player gets 10 targets, it's
that early on.
Yeah. Right, yeah, that was his NFL debut, for goodness sake. So, and then, when I was working out the trade for him, I was researching him, and I think that the Detroit coaches are pretty impressed with him. But I don't think I fleeced you or anything there. I think Drew Sample is a nice piece.
Yeah, I do think as well, but Yeah, I targeted Quintus in the draft specifically, like
Yeah.
of my later targets, because I knew he had that potential, but it's just I needed a new tight end,
Yeah.
and now I have, I believe, a really good tight end core for the coming years.
Yeah,
Like
I
Dalton.
like how you recovered from the Kittle injury.
Yeah,
Definitely. And just comparing, you got Cephas in the 23rd round, and I got Sample in the 16th, but I also sent you a pick, right? Was it a second or third or something?
I believe it was the third or fourth, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty close value overall. And that was kind of my strategy too, moving into the back half of the draft. I stockpiled young tight end prospects just because, tight end can be such a crapshoot in the NFL. There's only a few that are consistent, and it's a physical position, so guys get hurt a lot. And I was able to capitalize on that and make a bunch of trades and ended up with Kelsey. So, but that's that's history at this point.
Really good for win now. And I also like what I like now that all my three tight ends are pretty much young.
Mm-hmm.
Schultz is debatable, but he's still 24.
That's fine, yeah.
And Irv Smith is 22. And you should just look at the snap percentage and his target share from the last few weeks.
Yep, it's going up consistently.
And he's not really that much of a blocking, more passing, tight end. So I do like seeing him grow into it. And Dalton with Dalton with Andy Dalton,
right,
or with Dak Prescott is like pretty good. And even with the guys that don't really have a name, like those quarterbacks that are playing coming week, I have no clue who they actually are. I believe they will throw to Dalton as well.
Definitely, like the tight ends can run a lot of really short, like safety valve routes, So when a inexperienced quarterback gets scared of incoming pressure, they'll throw the short 4 or 5 yard route to the tight end. And so tight ends are actually pretty good usually for inexperienced quarterbacks. But even then, when Dak Prescott's there, like you see this week 2 game, Dalton Schultz had 10 targets, 9 receptions, 88 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, in our league with 1.5 tight end PPR, you are very happy with that kind of game. So, he's proven he can produce even with Dak. And last week he proved he can produce even with Ben DiNucci. So I like Dalton Schultz a lot. In fact, I almost wonder if you should start him over Irv Smith. That's a tough call.
Yeah, it's a really tough call this week. But I have a small gut feeling that Pittsburgh is just going to run over the offensive line.
That's very true. Now who joined? You guys.
What is up?
We need to make a play or a podcast only thing.
Yeah, we need to make a channel for that indeed.
Yeah. This was I guess you can hang out. I don't really care.
Sure.
Whatever works. I was trying to give the spotlight to Theagle, and then I would bounce around who gets the spotlight, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I think there's room for 3 of us right now.
No, that's fine.
Just saw 2 people chilling in the channel. I was like, all right.
Sure. So let's talk about your team then while you're on. Let's find Pastor's team.
Let's go ahead and just
ignore
my team for a little bit.
In case nobody can see usernames. This is Pastor who just joined, so we get another peek at the physical appearance of another member of the league. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about you just a little bit ago because you were involved in that trade that Theagle did.
Yeah,
I'm getting all mixed up on the trades.
I got a first round of Pastor, so
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so you didn't actually trade for Thielen; it was just his pick. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yes, I've been involved in too many trades at this point.
There's no such thing as too many trades.
But I wanted to give a spotlight to one of my players that I think is a hidden gem.
Ooh, let's
and
hear it.
he's like starting to come out. It's Darnell Mooney.
I
And
saw that you started him last week and got some big
Yeah.
points out of him. That was a nice start. I agree. It's interesting.
I was looking at his targets, and I noticed like I had A-Rob in my other league,
Right. Yep.
and I just noticed that A-Rob wasn't getting that much. And who got the rest? Like this rookie called Darnell Mooney, and I saw him running open routes, etc. Of course, Foles missing him because Foles is Foles and that offensive line is fucking dog shit.
Sure.
And then I saw this 81% snap percentage for Mooney. I saw A-Rob not practicing for the entire week, and I was like, yeah, this might be it. And I am a proud believer that A-Rob will get traded in the offseason because he just wants too much money, and the Bears are fucking terrible with management. So then Darnell Mooney.
I mean, that's a good argument. You know, I'm looking at his game logs since week 3. He has not had less than 5 targets a single game. That's 6 straight weeks of 5 or more targets. That's really solid.
And he's a rookie.
Yeah.
And he will probably be the wide receiver number 1 in the Bears offense.
It's possible. Anthony Miller might take that spot. I don't know. But
no, Anthony Miller is getting a worse target share at the moment.
That's true. And maybe their quarterback situation will change too. Is Foles locked up next year? I'm not too sure, actually.
I'm not sure either, but I don't think they will keep Trubisky either.
Right.
So they might trade for another quarterback. But the quarterback is not really... I don't feel like the quarterback is the issue. Like, Foles throws pretty decently. He just doesn't have any time.
Yeah, and he's not the kind of quarterback that can, scramble to create extra time for his receivers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's...
And the offensive coordinator from Bears just keeps on calling long plays. So
yeah,
I have no clue what's going on there. But that's my 2 cents on my hidden gem.
I like it a lot. Let's hear about your team, Pastor. I want to hear your thoughts. I have it pulled up on the screen right now myself.
Sure. I mean, I'm about to make a trade right now for someone in the Bears organization. So
who could
not exactly talking it up right now.
Who could that be? Like Montgomery or something? Someone just got Montgomery. Yeah. That went through earlier.
Oh, that's a really good trade. I enjoy it.
Oh, there you go. He had another one sent to me that was a 1st and a 4th that I was looking at and considering, and I sent the 1st and the 3rd as a counter. I didn't realize he just accepted it. So
it's interesting that they are 2022 picks instead of 2021.
He doesn't have any 2021 picks anymore.
Oh, because Not So Super is... Oh, I just realized Not So Super got Derrick Henry. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. How could you do this to us?
Gonna win this.
Holy crap.
I don't know. I heard this analysis on my team, and they're like, Derrick Henry, yeah, he's solid, but he's got a lot of wear and tear on those tires. I'm not sure if I'm going to build around that guy.
Who would make an assessment like that?
And it's not like I'm in win now territory right now, so I mean, might as well ship out some value and get something back for him. Plus, Montgomery is still young. I think he's going to be better if they ever do anything right in Chicago, as far as like you were saying, blocking a little bit better, give him some more room to run.
It's mostly the offensive line.
Yep.
Yeah.
I definitely see
a quarterback change there.
Yeah. I mean that could go a long way.
I think the Foles move from Trubisky this season kind of signals that Trubisky's time that experiment's pretty much over. He had that 1 year where he kind of blew up, and then from there it's just been
and the fact that he just hurt his shoulder on one play, that's also...
Yeah. So, I mean, Foles obviously isn't the future. So they got to figure something out there. I don't know if they do that in free agency or in the draft. Who knows? But I don't expect that quarterback situation to be the same next year.
Part of their problem is they're too good to have a draft pick that will be, like one of the top quarterbacks. So
they're a surprising 5-win team.
Right. So
it's very surprising.
I feel like there are some okay-ish quarterbacks in the next drafting class. Like they're like 7 of them that might make it to the next level.
Like late
Right,
first
right.
round guys, Bears could
Yeah.
grab maybe.
And I
Hopefully.
do like the Montgomery pick because even with this horrible offensive line, he is still producing like solid numbers.
He's actually been very consistent at what he does.
Yeah.
If you look at his, I mean, just like
Yeah, no,
11-ish
I was surprised
points.
looking at it too.
Yeah, like pretty much always about 11 points. Not much more than that, not much less.
You know what you're getting out of him.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's something that you can work with for sure.
And you just know this is probably his worst. So it will become better once that offensive line becomes better, or once the offensive coordinator gets fired.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
'cause-
1 touchdown on the rushing on the year. I think 2 total. He had 1 receiving somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that seems like that's incredibly low.
It's kind of a
for
fluke, I would think.
Yeah.
Like do they have a goal line back? Not that I've
No. Everything
It's
goes
all
to
Montgomery.
Graham.
Mhm.
Everything goes to Graham on the
Good old
Bears.
grandpa.
Yeah.
I tried real hard to sell that one off, and he wouldn't take it.
You tried to sell it off to me, right?
Yeah. I was trying to sell the fact that he's got experience and wisdom, and he can just carry your team through the struggles of a postseason run. I mean, he's got it all there.
Dang,
No,
you're
no, he
kind of
wouldn't budge.
stacked on tight end.
Yeah,
Hunter Henry
Yeah.
and Kittle
Mm-hmm.
is interesting.
And
And
blew my entire free agent budget on Reed this past waiver.
honestly,
Figured
I
I'm not
like
gonna
it.
Use it.
I like it a lot. Jordan Reed
Mhm.
is one of those players where when he's on the field, he always seems to produce. He had a 2 touchdown game in week 2, and then of course got hurt, but
As is the Jordan Reed special. Yeah.
sure is. Was
I
it
do like all those speculative waiver ads. Like, this guy might be doing something like in the coming 5 weeks or something. So
Mhm.
let's pick him up.
it's kind of what you got to do in
Yeah.
this kind of league. There's just nothing out there. I mean, you're just getting dart throws at this point on the waivers, and that's it.
Yeah,
That
I
was
just
kinda
picked.
the Jordan Wilkins pickup last week before the game started. I was like, someone might go down. I like Colts running backs, and then I don't know why he blew up. Couldn't tell you. Didn't get to watch the game
Jonathan
yeah.
Taylor wasn't there.
at all.
I mean, he was there, but not there, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay.
It
But I didn't
was-
see really anything come up on the injury for him. They said it was questionable of a little ankle thing, but I mean, 20 carries for Jordan Wilkins is not expected on any
Yeah.
week.
Taylor looked so bad. I'm thinking about benching him this week, which is really painful for my 2nd round pick. But
If you need an experienced tight end to really solidify your team, I'll take that struggling rookie running back off
Okay.
the roster.
that is
Clean
just so generous of you.
I may be the worst GM, but I'm a kind one.
At least you got that going for you. So let's talk a little bit more about kind of the state of what your team's looking like. You unfortunately don't have your 1st round pick,
What are you
and
talking about? I got Hopkins.
no, I mean like
That's my
for
that's my first round
2020
pick every year.
for 2021 you don't have your 1st round pick.
No,
And,
but I do have 6 picks
That's true. That's
in
true.
2021. No.
Okay. Late round
delicious.
stuff. You have the lowest scored in the week for the league so far, but just 1 week. And you didn't have Hopkins, who obviously is going to be one of your big point sources. So, it's too early to say anything on that.
Didn't expect to get absolutely nothing out of Lockett, Cooper, and
brutal.
AJ Green.
Right.
Figured one of those guys might do something.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
I can't believe AJ Green did nothing last week. And I talked him up.
I could. The whole time watching that analysis, like, man, am I wrong about AJ Green? No, I've been burned by him in the past, and that's why I'm kind of faded away from him in the draft. But maybe I've been a little too hard. And then someone offered him to me. I was like, okay, we can do this. But
Delicious.
Brutal. What's up?
Small technical thing. If you go to the league on the on the sleeper app And
Yep.
scroll down below the standings, you can find the recent league activity. That's what you were looking for.
Oh, and then you can click.
Yeah,
Oh, you can click trades, so we can get.
yeah, and you can see each team's like the number. So Delicious has 5 trades already. Nice.
Well, it's not about the trades. Just go down and just click on recent league activity.
Mhm.
Well,
and
yeah,
just
you're
scroll
right.
on.
It's just I
Yeah.
didn't realize how flexible this is. I can even see trades done by specific like league team
Mhm.
owners and stuff. That's
Yeah.
that's really nice
Yep.
for these kinds of videos when I want to narrow in on the kinds of moves teams have made.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's use this. I want to talk about every trade that we've done if we have some
You
time.
two actually had the most.
So
Yeah, who are
Theagle's
we going
got
to
5
start
trades.
with? Wait a second. Let's talk about your team, Delicious, because we've talked about my team
Okay.
and Pastor's team right now.
Okay, sure. All right. So I like my team a lot, but I'm worried about my quarterbacks, I will admit. I'm not going to get too hard on Tua after just one game. And, you know, the
Mhm.
Dolphins obviously crushed the Rams last week, so Tua didn't really have to do anything, but I certainly wanted more than 4 points.
Yeah.
I think my tight end situation has become absolutely incredible. I'm going to be flexing Noah Fant now because the tight end premium is just so
Good
juicy.
one.
Um, my
Stags joined for a half second and then
see ya, Stags.
dipped on yeah.
It's sad I had to get rid of T. Higgins to make all this stuff happen to get Kelsey, but you know, when you get a player like Travis Kelsey with 1.5 tight end premiums and he's getting like 10 targets a game, I think I had to make that happen at that point.
I mean, he's the clear top tight end.
He's
especially
maybe
with-
arguably the top individual like win now piece in the entirety of the league. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
who helps you win more than this right now? So especially with Kittle
Maybe
out,
Patrick Mahomes. Who knows?
maybe. I mean, and obviously Mahomes is better long term, but
right. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge pickup.
yep. So
For,
I feel great about that. I feel great about Chase Edmonds.
Yeah. You
for
should
a
feel
weeks,
great
for
about
sure,
that.
For sure.
I think he's going to come out and start shredding some teams, and he will keep his starting spot away from Drake. But obviously, that is to an extent speculative, and so I could lose a lot of value with him. You know, 3-4 weeks down the line. I hope not.
NFL coaches are very stubborn.
That's true, and
So,
they have the money
yeah.
invested in Drake more
Mhm.
so that could be interesting to see. But I think Dobbins is about to break out, and that I am even more confident in. Just you know, watching patterns with the Ravens, they hold their rookies back until kind of the back half of the season, and you can see the snap percentage. I know Mark Ingram was out, but he had almost 70% of snaps against Pittsburgh. And when you put up 113 rushing yards on only 15 attempts against Pittsburgh, you're going to get me really excited because that's an elite rushing defense. And Dobbins just looked like an absolute man out there. So that was very exciting to see. I love some of my pieces down in here, but I'm scared of Jonathan Taylor right now.
I do notice you have Will Fuller on your team.
Yep.
How much were you monitoring the trade deadline?
I was
the other
monitoring very closely.
I think he came out ahead from him staying, for as far as production goes.
I was in the camp that actually thought if he went to the Packers, he would still maintain basically the same level of value, just because I think that Aaron Rodgers is better than Deshaun Watson, and that Aaron Rodgers has shown he can have 2 totally viable fantasy wide receivers before, and he'd probably be getting, I don't know. But, you know, you're probably right overall.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Deshaun is better, though.
You think Deshaun's better than Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, not at this exact moment, but
well,
like
as a dynasty fantasy piece, of course.
Yeah, as a dynasty piece, of course, but like it might even be like I feel like Aaron Rodgers is like blowing his last team, something like that. He won't be going on for that much longer.
That'll be interesting to see.
I don't know when he is going to fall off. It might even be this season. I feel like.
He's definitely getting up there.
Yeah, and I don't view him as the kind of guy that's like a obsessed psychopath with football like Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady wants to play until he's 60 or something. I don't think that's what Aaron Rodgers will want to do. I think he'll want to hang him up while he still feels physically like he might be able to play a little longer. But that's pure speculation, of course. And that wouldn't make me mad because I have Jordan Love down here, which is a juicy stash, I think.
That's a really juicy stash. You spent a very early pick on him, didn't you?
Relatively, like 17th round. There were players I could have gotten around here that would be playable. But I just seeing all the quarterbacks that were gone at this point, all that was left was like Ryan Fitzpatrick and then garbage. I just thought somebody was going to take Love soon, so I really wanted to make sure that I had him on my taxi squad sitting there for however long it takes. Could be 5 years, I don't know, but if that pays off, I will look like a genius.
Green Bay does have a history of having decent quarterbacks coming out of nowhere. So.
Yeah, no doubt. And they have like a win now team. So the fact that they took this guy in the first round suggested to me that they must think he has like stud potential. So it's pretty interesting. But
so are you told us earlier, like in your analysis, that you wanted to maybe pick Kyler Murray over Lamar Jackson. Are you already kind of regretting that pick?
I need to see a few more games, get closer towards the end of this season. I mean, let's be fair. Pittsburgh's a brutal matchup. Lamar had almost 30 fantasy points the last time he played against the Eagles. The Ravens are 5-2, so it's not like they're, getting crushed with Lamar out there. And down towards, if I'm in the fantasy playoffs and I get Lamar against Dallas, Cleveland, Jacksonville, and New York Giants, I like that a lot. So in the short term, I'm not scared. In the long term, that's a tougher question. I mean, I can't deny Kyler. Kyler is a better thrower, but I don't think the difference is as huge as people think. I think DeAndre Hopkins makes a huge difference. Lamar Jackson does not have a DeAndre Hopkins on his team. Nobody even close. That's not the kind of receiver that Marquise Brown is, for example. And I after following Lamar Jackson so closely ever since he entered the league, I think he is an extremely hard worker, and I think that he will improve and be able to have a long career. So I can't say that I regret the pick yet, but it's very close. If we did the draft again today, maybe I take Kyler instead. I don't know. It's what I really wanted was Mahomes, really, but it's after Mahomes. I think it's very debatable.
Because his primary weapon is his running. And
Definitely.
That's something that will definitely fall.
That's Kyler's primary weapon too. I mean, he's not like Drew Brees or something.
No, but almost all quarterbacks that are coming now are mostly runners, at least from what I've seen.
Or definitely at least athletic enough to scramble in the pocket and stuff. I wouldn't call Pat Mahomes a runner, but he can definitely scramble in the pocket and buy time for his receivers.
But Lamar is also being just that running threat, and I feel like his legs are gonna go down pretty fast, and he's just not allowed to run that much anymore because he was that good. So if he's running a lot, he might get hurt faster, and they don't want that. But his primary weapon is running. So
that's definitely a fair point. I think another detail about Lamar that people forget is that he is younger than Joe Burrow. I mean, that's like a mind-blowing fact. And Lamar's been in the league this is his third season already, So it's not like he has peaked, I think, just like a mental standpoint, because playing quarterback a lot is mental. Some of his interceptions against the Steelers last week were just bad decisions. Once you get better and better at reading defenses, a quarterback is a position that you can improve on even when you're 35. So yes, Lamar is going to keep running less and less. I don't think he's ever going to put up as many rushing yards as he did at his MVP season last season, but that doesn't mean he can't, run and improve as a passer and still be one of the top fantasy quarterbacks. He certainly hasn't been a top fantasy quarterback this year up until now. I can't deny that. But that's mostly just anchored on 2 bad games, which was last week and Kansas City really, really screwed him up. Other than
Plus a
that,
small ankle injury.
what's that?
Plus a small ankle injury, right?
I think he was a little bit banged up, yeah, and that was obviously limiting his running. But he had 65 rushing yards against Pittsburgh and 108 against Philadelphia, so he's still certainly putting up yards on the ground when he takes off.
And it is tough to kind of base it. We're only 1 week into the league, so very small sample size on what we've seen of our players.
Right.
But even last year with Pittsburgh, Lamar kind of put up a dud.
Yeah,
with,
it's
3 picks in that year, or 3 picks last time.
So, and those were some of his only picks all season. He didn't throw very many last year, and he threw like 36 touchdowns. So
that's probably not the best matchup to really base anything off of.
Right. So I'm not panicking by any means.
No.
But Tua scares me, obviously, because I've seen less of him. Tua does not have an MVP under his belt.
Yeah.
I think Tua probably ends up being a better thrower just in general than Lamar. Just going off of college.
I even agree.
Presence there.
Yeah. The question is that even the kind of offense Miami wants to run? Like maybe they just kind of seem like they want to pound the ball and play defense, So
not a bad strategy.
No, I mean that wins you games, but is Tua going to be a better real life quarterback than fantasy quarterback? That's very possible.
I think at some point in this year, they've been doing well above expectations for this season. But at some point,
might even make playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll have to let them kind of loose a little bit to see what they got. I mean, they're very kind of restricted with him in the first game. Obviously, they had the defensive touchdown that kind of changed the whole.
I mean, they just crushed the Rams all around.
But I think you can look at quarterbacks kind of like Dak and Russ. For early on in their year, running was a big component of their offensive game, and then now they just kind of do it on occasion, do it a little safer now. Yeah. So I can see Lamar kind of doing that same transition. Is a little bit less of the design run, a little bit more of just having to scramble every once in a while when plays break down.
I'd call it like situational running rather than, because
it's good to have the ability, but not so much to rely on it.
Yeah.
Every time Lamar takes a snap in the shotgun and runs it up the middle, I just cringe. Because not only do I not think it's a very good play call, but it's like you're getting my dude hit. He's going to take a hit on that kind of play. Either run him outside or not at all. That's just that it's that simple. That if I was the play caller there,
why aren't you the play caller? They didn't call you for that one.
Do you think I should send John Harbaugh like these videos I've been doing?
Yeah, go for it.
Look how good I am.
Emailing Hopkins to be a co-owner of the team, but after that first loss, he won't respond anymore. So we'll see. Maybe next year.
Yeah. All right, so we're actually almost up to 40 minutes already. I'm not sure how long of a video I can even upload to YouTube. There's got to be a limit at some point.
You can probably do an hour.
Probably. So if there's like another like kind of quick general topic you guys want to discuss, we could do that, or we could just cut it now. I think we have some good content. The people in the league are going to dig this.
So I had one more question. What was the biggest trade we've seen up till now, at least in your eyes?
That's very interesting to answer. Maybe the most league-altering would be the trade I made yesterday to get Travis Kelce. Because that takes my team from, I think, middle of the pack to a contender. If he stays healthy and keeps doing what he's been doing, and I'm getting 25 points a week from my tight end position, that's going to really be a big deal. Other than that, let's see if I can... Another one jumps out to me.
I was surprised by that trade.
I was also surprised by the trade.
I could not believe
It
I
seems
got.
strange that DJ Dallas was involved in it, really at all. But
I traded T. Higgins for the first and DJ Dallas. So basically, I traded T. Higgins,
Dallas Goddard and T. Higgins.
Dallas Goddard, and T. Higgins for Travis Kelce. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that for sure.
I'm not entirely sure. Like, I do like the trade, but something just feels off. But I can't really put my finger on it. What feels off?
For which side? My
Curse
side?
on 'em.
It just feels like it's a package of not a lot versus a really big guy, but it's just
I know
really-
DJ Dallas is a stud. I can't believe
Yeah.
that it only took
Yeah.
Travis Kelce to get him. But
I think that it helps Gallows in the long term for sure, because his pick could very well be like 1.02 or 1.1, and he was in our discussions he was saying his biggest concern is quarterback, because all he has right now is Kyle Allen, I think, which is obviously a miserable situation. So he wanted a pick to ensure that he gets a quarterback next year, and it gives him, Dallas Goddard is no Travis Kelce, but he's much younger and I think has massive potential. I'm a big fan of Dallas Goddard. It wasn't easy to give him away for me mentally.
That I get. Yeah, Dallas Goddard is really good.
I almost said yes on that trade you sent me with Goddard. I just happened to be sitting here on Sleeper, saw a trade pop up, and it was AJ Green plus something for Goddard and something. Didn't even have enough time to read it before it was already taken away.
Because I withdrew. I've done that several times.
I saw AJ leaving my team and Dallas Goddard coming to my team, and I almost hit accept just immediately before reading the rest of it. I was like, yep, all right, let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
But it was gone.
There's been several times I've sent a trade and then within 5 minutes withdrew it because I was like, oh my gosh, if they accept that and I regret it, I will hate everything for a year. So it's hard, man, in Dynasty, because unlike redraft, if you screw up a trade, you could screw yourself up for 2-3 years rather than you get the do-over every season in redraft, so that stresses me out when it comes to the trades.
I'm doing like going over my trades like 4 times.
Yeah.
And being like, should I do this? Like, I'm still not entirely sure if I did the correct trade on the Amari Cooper trade.
Oh, I'm not sure if any of my trades have been correct. You really don't know until down the line, So
yeah.
Looking at the trades, if there's another one I would nominate as being really big for the league, I think actually the A.J. Brown and a second-round pick for Josh Allen is really interesting. And
that's a big win for Raw Dog.
I think so too.
I wouldn't even. Yeah.
I guess we'll have to see what that second-round pick turns into. Because if it's nothing, and then it's just A.J. Brown for Josh Allen.
And that I would do straight up also. Like, A.J. Brown, at least, I have A.J. Brown very high. Like
a wide receiver 1 for several years. I can see it.
Yeah, wide receiver 1 for several years. The guy who is competing with DK Metcalf for the coming 10 years. A.J. Brown.
But Josh Allen in a super flex, man, he's not elite, but...
And Josh Allen is messing up a lot. Like...
He's still basically second year.
Yeah, he's still second year, basically, but he's...
Full year, yeah.
He's not really playing that good.
He had some really nice games early in the season, but it's been a bit, middling ever since. They're still winning, so...
Yep.
I feel like it's someone said this to me in this league, I believe. The Brown from the Buffalo Bills is a really good component to that offense.
Oh, John Brown. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually a believer that John Brown makes a huge difference. Did he play this past week? I'm not actually sure.
Don't think so. No.
He's been out for a little while now with kind of just nagging injury, it seems like.
Yes. Ever since Josh Allen wasn't playing great.
Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind for sure. Like, was Josh Allen is he overly reliant on someone on his team, which could tank his value? Because John Brown's kind of old, So
Yeah.
I also want to mention the McCaffrey trade being a big one for the league, especially when you consider how screwed Josh is now, because he doesn't even get to play Gaskin for a while.
Well, I still believe that Josh is pretty much a contender.
His team's interesting.
His team is pretty good, actually.
He's made some moves. I like his move to acquire Kareem Hunt. That kind of frustrated me because I felt like I would have paid more than what he did, but I just didn't get the chance. And then he just acquired Thielen, who's obviously a pretty good win now piece. He wasn't very good this past week, but that doesn't sour my view on him or anything moving forward.
It was a windy game, so.
Right, yeah. So then he's got Jacobs and good quarterbacks.
Keenan Allen is just popping off every week.
Oh, yeah. Him and Mike Williams and Justin Herbert, that's a heck of an offense. They're not really winning games, but...
but it's like the perfect fantasy strategy, right? Having a bad defense, good offense,
They're one of those teams that they're not really that good in real life, but I'm tuning into their games because it's just so fun to watch Herbert play with these guys.
It's always close with them.
It really is, yeah.
Every Chargers game is close.
They'll have years where it's like, man, if a couple of field goals just went through, they'd be in the playoffs right now or something. So
for sure. I do find it interesting that he's starting Marvin Jones Jr.
But Marvin Jones is being the wide receiver one for the coming week.
Yeah, I like that with Galladay out.
Yeah, it's still Marvin Jones Jr. I still feel like he has one game a year, and I always play against him during that game, so I'm very aware of it. The last place team in my other league, I just lost to them because of the 2-touchdown game from Marvin Jones Jr. But yeah, he has one game a year, and then just kind of exists. That's about it.
He's also one of those confusing players where he seems to perform better when Galladay is there for some reason. Like he just needs to be like not being covered by the opposing team's number one corner, stuff like that. And then that's where he really excels.
In the red zone.
Pretty much.
Like the pop off Marvin Jones game is like 4 catches for 2 touchdowns or something. So
yeah. But yeah. He might cause some upsets with having Tom Brady out there still for like coming year.
I actually
he's only 43, so I mean,
only
got a couple more years. Got that 50, 55-year-old quarterback in the league. Just as long as him and Drew Brees keep going back and forth, he'll still be playing.
Yeah, he fooled us all. This is actually a long-term piece that he got with Brady.
I don't know why he doesn't have him on his taxi squad here. That's
right.
And a top 3 tight end with Waller.
Yep, top 3, 4. I'd say for sure. Yeah, that's a good squad. Definitely.
Running back gets better after the Hunt bye week.
He's not really using his taxi spots. He should definitely be using his taxi spots.
Yeah, he should definitely just pick up some random rookies.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose. There's spots on your roster.
You do have to make the spots, though, before you can move them into the taxi. So you have to drop 3 players.
And they have to be... Maybe he just doesn't really have rookies on his roster.
He doesn't have any.
I'm not seeing anything. That's a good point.
He has Benny Snell, right?
Benny Snell's not a rookie. Yeah,
he's not?
Okay. No, he played last year.
0 rookies. So, yeah, he would have to drop... Like, you could drop Ross Dwelly, probably. But maybe with Kittle hurt, maybe he sees the field. But, yeah, he doesn't really have very many pieces that I would want to drop. Duke Johnson. I mean, someone would pick him up, but this is not...
It's not someone you should keep. I believe, I'm a firm believer of those old guys on your bench who are not making your starting roster. They just shouldn't be on your team at all.
This is doing nothing for your team, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
just
I agree with
some small advice I would give anyone in the league. Just don't keep those old pieces that wouldn't start and are not going to become any better anytime soon.
I mean, if David Johnson gets hurt, he's maybe even still not playable. So
I don't see Duke Johnson taking over there.
No. So. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna call it now. That was pretty fun. I feel like we talked about a lot of different things, and I think the people in the league are gonna like this. So it can definitely be something that we keep doing. Probably, I don't know, once a week, maybe every other week. Just get in whoever wants to chat. Come on in. You don't have to turn on the camera if you don't want. We'll just go from there. So I had fun doing this. Thanks for hopping in, guys. And I'm going to stop recording in a second and get to uploading because this is going to take a while.
I do want to say one more thing.
Okay.
Pastor, your background is smooth, man.
Thank you.
It's really clean.
It's looking good, man.
Appreciate it.
Looking good. All right. Well, thanks, guys, and have a good night or day or whatever it is for you, Theagle.
It's night. It's
night.
almost
Okay.
12.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, see you guys.
See you guys.